They better hope so. They better hope so. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to another episode of Hot Takes. This is your host, Marcus. And let's get you a quick update. This is not going to be a long episode as I'm into the wee hours of the morning and I've had so many difficulties that this has been a true pain, but I am doing what I can to bring you this news. So, quick update. The Brooklyn Nets have been eliminated by the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference. That's right, you heard it. Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kyrie Irving, and the Brooklyn Nets are no longer in the playoffs. This year's championship was pretty much served up on a platter for them. They could not deliver. There are going to be excuses. There's going to be so much talk about who didn't show up or whose fault it is that this happened. I'm not passing any blame. I'm going to simply say that the basketball gods have smiled upon most of us and let us know that the ugliness has to stop. The super team thing is going to have to stop at some point. And think about this for a second. This is the first time in 10 years that we have 4 teams. Actually, it might be longer than that, actually. The first time and the longest time that we have 4 teams that have never been to the finals or haven't been there in a long period of time. So, as you see here on your screen, let's talk about the Western Conference right quick. The Clippers are taking on the Phoenix Suns, which, by the way, I'm going to start off by saying the Phoenix Suns are for real. Don't think they're not. I got some folks saying they're paper tigers. They only look good on paper. They only play well when teams are down a man, this, that, and the other. It don't matter. Health is never going to be something that can be guaranteed in the league. You're playing for a championship. The rule is next man up. There are no excuses. There are presumably 15 spots on that roster. Usually only 12 of them matter. And on most teams, it's about an 8-man rotation, sometimes 9. Next man up. I have to give it to Paul George and the Clippers. Once Kawhi went down the last series against Utah, honestly, I expected them to fold. But he pulled it out. Playoff P showed up and he pulled it out. Not only that, but as you see on his to our right, his left, number 14, that's Terrence Mann. He showed up. Reggie Jackson on his right, our left, showed up in that series, and they really showed out. And that's what propelled them to the conference finals. The first in Clippers history, as a matter of fact. Now, the Phoenix Suns are down without Chris Paul. But not to worry. There's a man by the name of Cameron Payne, who was nearly out of the league, by the way, just a year ago. He's had stints with OKC and Chicago, and they have not worked out. He was all but one step out of the league, and he's back. Now, let me refocus right quick. It says here on your screen that when the Clippers this year have been down 2 in a series, they have beat the odds every time. And that is true. But they better be able to do it this time, because now they don't have Kawhi Leonard. They have to rely on Paul George. And that team has got to come together. And right now they are failing. As of this recording, the Clippers are down 0-2 to the Phoenix Suns. To the Phoenix Suns. Now, the first game, I fully expected the Phoenix to win that game. It's their home court. Why wouldn't they win? Second game, I thought could have gone either way. And honestly, it was a photo finish. And I mean, it came down to tenths of seconds. With the game on the line, the Clippers up 1 point with about 0.10 seconds left to go. Well, actually, it was like 0.9, honestly. The Clippers get fouled, send Paul George to the line. He only has to make 1 free throw. He got 2. He only has to make 1. If he makes 1, the most, and I mean the absolute most the Suns can do is tie and push it to overtime. But Paul George, an 85% career, 85% free throw shooter, missed them both, leaving the door open for the Phoenix Suns. Now, if you know anything about basketball, it only takes about 2.3 seconds to get a shot off. To which, that's exactly what the Suns did. I'm going to move forward here. This was the final play. DeAndre Ayton gets an inbound pass. Alley-oop, dunk. Leaving 0.7 seconds left on the clock. Which, by the way, because this play had to be reviewed, they had to stop the clock to make sure that what happened was legal. Oh, and it was. See, it's different if it's a shot. If they'd have passed the ball to an open player who wasn't going up for a dunk like the alley-oop, had they thrown the ball near the rim, it could have gone as a shot or a pass. But because it was an inbound pass, it doesn't matter if it crossed the cylinder or not. It's a pass. Ayton goes up, alley-oops it home. That's game. Because now the Clippers have to get the ball in 0.7 seconds up the court, past the half-court line, and get a shot off. It's possible, very, very improbable. And what happened tonight is just that. Now, the unsung hero of this game is not just DeAndre Ayton, who, by the way, had a fantastic game. Okay? As a matter of fact, most times for this final play, coaches don't usually call this kind of play. Coaches usually don't call this kind of play. But Monty Williams, he called it. And it happened just the way he said it would. If you get the inbound pass, you got to dunk it. That's exactly what happened. But the other unsung hero in this game, Cameron Payne. Now, we all know Chris Paul is out right now. He's not out with injury, though. Safety protocol. Apparently, he wasn't out with a mask, or maybe he got like a bad COVID test. We don't know what's going on, but he should be back for game 3, maybe 4. But the way the Suns are playing, they might not need him to get to the championship game. Now, it says here, Cameron Payne in game 2, 29. Let me tell you something. This man was almost out of the league. He was contemplating playing in China. It almost happened, too. Him and Terrence Mann, as a matter of fact, could have been in China playing together right now. This man, in game 2, Chris Paul is nowhere to be found. He's on the sideline probably cheering his team on. If not, he's in a hotel room. He's texting. He's watching the game. Cameron Payne, the other CP, 29 points, 9 assists, shot 50% from the field. Most impressive stat of the night, 0 turnovers. That's a point guard, folks. That's an NBA guard. The reason I say that's an NBA guard is because look at that. Remember I said he had a stint in Chicago and Oklahoma City. And in Chicago, they claimed that after the second practice, they knew that he wasn't an NBA level player. They knew he couldn't make it. Look who's laughing now, Chicago. Look who's laughing now. This man's story is truthfully never, ever, ever give up. Now, I don't have any more of these pictures to show you because now I'm going back to the East. Earlier I said that there's going to be a lot of, garbage being thrown around, excuses being given for why Brooklyn didn't pull it out. And honestly, here's the deal. I've heard everything from his team wasn't healthy. Kevin Durant's team, Brooklyn, that's what I'm talking about. Everything from his team wasn't healthy to James Harden couldn't play but so well. He on one leg and Kyrie missed the whole series pretty much and yada, 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 and blah, blah, blah. The chips fall where they may. Like I said earlier, next man up. Now, they said that Kevin was wearing the wrong size shoes in Game 7. He wore a size bigger than what he usually does. Court awareness, folks. Plain and simple. If you knew you wore the wrong size shoe so that you wouldn't stub your toes, which is a common practice among players in the league, then you know there's an adjustment to be made. You know that your toes are going to be roughly an inch further than usually they are. Make that adjustment. Now, I say that because in Game 7 against Milwaukee, the last shot of regulation, literally his toe was like a centimeter, maybe an inch over the line. Had it not been, that's game. 3 points, it's over. Brooklyn advances. But that's not what happened. He hit the shot. Unfortunately, it was a 2. send it to overtime. To which Kevin absolutely, and I'm not gonna give him a hard time for this, but I'm still gonna mention it. Overtime, 6 shots, nothing falls, they lose. He couldn't buy a basket. Now, he played every minute of this game, 53 minutes, the whole thing. Never took a breath of fresh air. Never took any air. The only time that he had a moment to breathe was during timeouts and commercial breaks. That's it. James Harden played the majority of the game too. So did Joe Harris. For whatever reason, they couldn't pull it out. But they fought valiantly. They fought very hard. I have to give them credit where it's due. They did the best they could. But earlier this year, I said something, and it rings true. And I say it again. I was screaming to the heavens. Offense sells tickets. Defense wins championships. I don't care what your team is comprised of. You can have 4 MVP players. If you don't have defense, you will not win. It does not happen. You got to defend. Okay? You have to defend. The Nets had a serious problem. They did not defend. Yeah, they could score all those points, but they can't stop nobody neither. I mean, because honestly, as bad as the Bucks play on the road, Giannis and the Bucks had no reason, they had no business winning that game. It shouldn't have gone 7 games, to be honest with you. With or without James Harden and Kyrie Irving, it shouldn't have gone 7 games. Kevin Durant is just that good. But again, defense is everything. I can score all the points in the world, but if I can't stop you, I guess we're gonna go until the time runs out. And if I miss one shot, that could be the end of it. Well, that's what happened to Brooklyn. Now, staying in the East, we're going over to to me what was probably the most exciting matchup in the whole playoff so far. Atlanta versus Philadelphia. And I'm sick for Philadelphia fans right now. I'm sick for you guys because there's no reason that you all should not be getting ready to face off against the Milwaukee Bucks. No reason whatsoever. But I may not have said it here on this program, and please forgive me for that. But I've been saying this to anyone I know who speaks sports the entire year. Ben Simmons will be the sole reason why the Philadelphia 76ers do not win a championship. They have to move him. And they did not move him. They held on to him. They went so far as to bend over backwards. Tell him, no, Ben, you don't have to learn how to shoot. You're a ball handler. We're gonna run you as our point guard. You and Ben Simmons, you and Joel Embiid, you guys fit perfectly together. Even though we can all see they don't fit perfectly together. Their games just don't mesh well. Now here's the deal. A moment ago I brought up Ben Simmons not learning how to shoot. Here's the funny part. There was a time when you could have said that he didn't know how to shoot. There was a time when you could have said that in his rookie year, maybe even his sophomore season. 5 years in, $177 million contract. The man makes my apologies. The man makes $430,000 per game. That's right, I did the math. I broke it down. $430,000 per game. That's ridiculous. In games 4 through 7, the man averaged 5.5 points. Five and a half points from your second best player. I don't care who you are or what else you're contributing to the team. That's horrendous. He averaged almost 15 points for the season. What happened? He couldn't just be average? You couldn't just be average, Ben. My goodness, man. Now, here's the thing. I wouldn't be as hard on Ben Simmons if I didn't know he can shoot. I've seen him shoot before. In the gym, practicing, running 5-on-5 drills where he has to take every single shot. And he shoots with confidence, too. He's very good. And I don't want to hear anyone talk about, oh, well, maybe it's the crowd. They played the vast majority of the year without a crowd. This year, it's like every game up until the playoffs started was pretty much an NBA bubble. It ain't the crowd. It ain't that he can't shoot. At this point, it's insubordination. He's decided he's not going to shoot the ball. 5 years in, he's still not shooting the ball. Teams literally leave him wide open because they know he won't shoot it. Now, see, it's different if I was talking about him just shooting outside of 18 feet. No, he won't shoot outside the paint. And don't even get me started about his free throw percentage. My goodness. Ugh. Like, seriously, his free throw percentage was probably the worst in NBA history. Like, seriously. He made Shaq look like a savant at the free throw line. That's how bad Ben Simmons was. Before the season started, as it just got underway, as a matter of fact, earlier this year, James Harden wanted out of Houston. And Philadelphia, who had just acquired Houston's old general manager, Daryl Morey, was number one for the opportunity to trade to get James Harden. And Ben Simmons had to go. Another big time team that was going to make the trade was Chicago. They could have did something with this. The moment that James Harden decided he wanted out, everybody who had any draft capital or any superstars or rising stars, because at this point, of course, you know, if James Harden wants out of Houston, Houston's looking to rebuild and they're going to need some young players. Ben Simmons would have been perfect to go to Houston. They could have figured it out, maybe. I don't know. But now look where you are. He has destroyed his. This man has destroyed his value. If you trade for him, you're getting a lot less than what he's worth. Definitely gonna get what your contract is worth. I think he's still got a year left on it, plus a player option. This man is stealing money in Philadelphia. That's what he's doing at this point. And I'm not gonna sit here and talk about his work habits, because I'm not there in the gym shooting with him. I'm not Stephen A. Smith. I'm not going to say that he's being babied. I don't know what's going on in Philadelphia. But what I will say is this. If I go to my job and something is expected of me, and I decide I'm just not going to do it and I'm going to be on the clock too, I'm getting fired. Ben Simmons got to go. He got to go. Maybe Sacramento will make the trade and send Buddy Hield and maybe Marvin Bagley to Philadelphia, and perhaps Ben Simmons can be sent somewhere where he can be the star, and maybe that'll force him to start shooting on the court. I don't know what the answer to this is, but what I will say is Markelle Fultz was once a Philadelphia 76er. They said the same thing about him, that he couldn't shoot, that he didn't want to shoot, this, that, and the other. Then they found out that he had an actual injury. The difference is Ben Simmons is not injured. Ben Simmons does not have a neurological issue. He did not have an accident that messed his shoulders up and made him have to learn how to shoot all over again. Markelle Fultz had to go to Orlando, take time, regroup, rehab, and become who he has become now. One of the best young guards when healthy. I can't wait till next season to see him and Cole Anthony play next to one another. I can't wait. They're going to be exciting on Orlando, if nothing else. Maybe Ben Simmons needs to change the scenery. I don't know. But Philadelphia can't go through this again. I'm going to tell you right now, there is no amount of support that he can receive in that locker room from his coach, from the front office, from the players in the locker room. There's no amount of support that he can possibly receive that will shield him from that Philadelphia fan base. They're going to let him have it. They're letting him have it all over social media right now. They're going to let him have it. He deserves it. I'm sorry. Usually I would defend players like this, but I cannot defend him. I can't. I'm not going to bash him. I'm trying to find solutions. Ben Simmons is entirely too talented to play the way that he did this year. It was terrible. What ended up happening was other players outshined him. Seth Curry, the brother of Steph Curry. Seth showed off. Him and Tobias Harris, along with Joel Embiid, kept them in this game. There was no reason why Trae Young and the Hawks should have won this series. None whatsoever. They were outmanned. Outplayed on defense. That's the most incredible thing. Somehow, I don't know what Coach Nate McMillan did, but he found a way to not only take away like Philadelphia's scoring ability on certain possessions, but they found a way to keep the second best defender in the league according to metrics. That's Ben Simmons, the second best defender in the league, only to I guess Rudy Gobert. They neutralized them. Not only that, they just took him out the game. Kudos to Nate McMillan. Like big time kudos to that man. Ice Trey, even in the game 7 when he shot horrendously. Who stepped up? His other shooters. Kevin Huerter. The one everyone right now on social media is saying they're calling him Rick Astley. They're never going to give you up guy. Rick rolling people. They're saying that he did the ultimate Rick roll on the Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I don't know what they're going to do with Ben Simmons in Philadelphia. Do you move him? Can you afford to move him? Can you get proper compensation for him? Probably not. You're probably going to have to take less if you're going to move him. Or do you, I guess, hurt yourself and have mercy on Joel Embiid and move him somewhere where he can actually win and just bite the bullet with Ben Simmons? I don't know what you do in Philadelphia, but you got to do something. But on a more joyous occasion, the Hawks are in the finals in the Eastern Conference, playing the Bucks. Now, if I was a betting man, which I am not, but I do like a good competition. As this recording goes up, the Hawks are taking on the Bucks. Personally, the Hawks play just as well on the road as they do at home. I don't know if that really helps them or not, but all they got to do is steal one game on the road. The Hawks got to steal one game on the road in Milwaukee. That's all they got to do. If they steal one game, Hawks in 6. Honestly, that's what's going to come down to. Whichever team can steal a game on the road. And I say steal a game on the road because Chris Middleton for the Milwaukee Bucks is terrible on the road. At home, this man averages something like 20, 26, 27 points. On the road, he can't even crack 20. His percentages go from like 52 to 39. That's a little bothersome. But it's going to be a good series. I'm taking the Hawks in 6. Back over to the West, again, I'm taking Phoenix in 6. I'm only giving them 6 because on the off chance that Kawhi Leonard comes back. Because, these first 2 games, Phoenix was pushed to the max to get these 2 wins on their home floor. Now they gotta go to LA. They should take one from them at least. Kawhi Leonard doesn't seem to come back from their injury too fast, and honestly, without Kawhi Leonard, they have no shot at beating the Phoenix Suns, in my opinion, with or without Chris Paul, honestly. Now, that means that, and hopefully I'm right about this because I've been wrong quite a bit this year in the NBA. And that's what I love about the NBA. It's really easy to be wrong, but it's always still fun to make these predictions. But in the championship, I have, I'm going to say this right now, it's going to be Phoenix and the Hawks in the NBA Finals this year. And I'm going to take Phoenix. That's the hot take. NBA Finals this year, Phoenix and the Hawks. Phoenix in 5. Because I just don't believe, barring injury, I just don't believe the Hawks have what it takes to win the title this year. This has been another episode of Hot Takes. I'm your host, Marcus. See you next week, folks.